Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube's Lower Deck review spoiler mass debate of season 2, episode 6, I believe, The Spy Humongous. So I'm here with a nice motley crew of different guys. I forgot to change my name. I'm still keeping my name from yesterday's What If video. So I'm Zam Monga. I'm alongside Jim, also known as James K. Lewis. How you doing, mate? Is he there? He's frozen, I think.
James.
He's definitely frozen. He hasn't moved at all. But we'll get back to him in a second. Steve, how you doing, my friend?
So far, so good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, your camera's glitching out, Steve. Do you see that, or is it just on our end?
I see it.
Okay.
I don't think it's permanent.
Oh.
Wow.
That fixed it.
Yeah, he's proper glitching now.
Technical issues. Thumbnail's not done on time. James is frozen. Steve's got a glitchy camera.
Yeah, Steve has gone into the Matrix and James is frozen. But whilst we do these introductions, I should get to my partner in crime, the man sitting below me, cousin Cheeto. How you doing?
I'm still working on the thumbnail, but I'm good.
Fantastic. Okay. So we had another thoroughly enjoyable episode of Lower Decks. And by the way, we have somebody in private chat. It's going whack on me. Okay, no problem, Jim. No problem at all. We'll keep things rolling till you get back. But yes, we had another thoroughly enjoyable episode of Lower Decks. Easter eggs galore. Some people won't appreciate those Easter eggs too much, but I did. But we had, once again, an episode that went in various different directions, giving us stories on various different things, whether it be the pack leads, cleaning out the trash, or just knowing or being yourself instead of copying somebody else when it comes to advancing yourself, in a particular organization. So, whilst everyone else tries to unfold, I think I saw James blink. Are you there, mate? Jim? Is he there?
James.
Nope.
Jimmy?
I'm hearing every other word.
Okie dokie. But
you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, yes, I can, Steve.
Okay.
If you're having camera issues, as long as we can hear you, that's what matters. Okay, so this was our episode. It was very funny. It had a fantastic ending, by the way. I was dying with that ending. But before we even get to that, first of all, Jim, how did you find this episode? Anything that stood out to you, mate?
James?
Jim, can you hear us? No? Is he lagging?
No, he said no pretty quickly after you asked him if he can hear you.
Okay, we'll get to Jim in a second. Okay, Cheeto, I'll go with you.
I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought it was probably one of the better episodes this season so far, in my personal opinion. It was nice to see Rutherford, Tindy, and Mariner kind of get their own plot while they're doing things, and then to see kind of Blemler go and do his own thing for a little bit. It was different in the way that I want these things. Like, I was complaining last week that it seems like everything was back to status quo with the way they pair them. And I kind of like the fact that they shook it up again this week, giving Blemler his own side story and then keeping these three, kind of doing their own thing and being funny. And actually, I felt like Tindy had some more character development this week than normal. Like, she's not just like the Orion slave girl that
Tindy had me in stitches today, by the way. Absolute. There's moments in her where she's trying to be a sweet girl, but there's moments when she just loses her fucking shit. and I love it when that happens. Did you like the Packlid side plot? Because as far as I was concerned, that was the side plot.
Oh yeah, I honestly forgot that was. I mean, I knew that it was there, but like I didn't consider it like a main plot point or anything like it was just kind of there to be there. So
I'm just giving Jim some advice here.
But yeah, I mean, the pack lead thing was good. Okay, so maybe I'm getting into this too early, but I did see that in the comments already that Daniel Vance is here, and he left a comment on your TikTok review that you did earlier for Lower Decks, and he said basically that it was a boring episode, and that it was, he didn't like it, and I thoroughly disagree with that. Like, if you objectively don't like the show, okay, like if you don't like it, if you don't like the comedy, if you don't like the animation, that's fine. That's an opinion, and that's okay. But like, I don't understand like what people, okay, I wanted more last week than and less this week. But okay, so what was last week? Last week was last week was less memorable than this week, in my opinion. What was last week? That was the oh crap. I don't even remember what last week's was.
They went to the star base and they had the
Oh,
guys
the party.
duplicating each
Yeah,
other.
the party. And I mean, that was fine. But like, I actually like this week's episode much better. I mean, there was good comedy, characterization all around. We got a little bit more out of Blemler with other characters. We got we got a different variation of the part, of the four ensigns, which is or crewmen.
The red shirts.
Are they crewmen or ensigns?
They're all ensigns, but they call themselves the red shirts.
But the other thing I had a problem with Daniel Vance's is his comment is he says that Star Trek is treating us like we're the pack led. Like we are the pack, like the fans are the pack led, and we'll take any Easter eggs or anything they throw at us. And I really take umbrage with that because I don't feel like that's the case. Like me and Zam, me and you have been very hard on Discovery season 1 and 2, and you were very hard on Picard season 1, which I didn't hate it as much as you did. I didn't think it was that fantastic, but I mean, Lower Decks is just like me and you have enjoyed this thoroughly, and it's not because it panders to us, but because it is self-referential Trek comedy. And I mean, I get it; it's not normal Trek, but at the same time, it is very it's very it's different, but it's good. And that's what I don't understand. So, I mean, do you guys feel this way too? Like, am I just crazy? Am I on an island, Zam? I know you like
I agree, but this thing about Easter eggs is like sometimes shows rely on your knowledge of Star Trek to make these jokes really hit home. I just want to go on a little tangent here before I pass it on to Steve. I went to see Mick Foley do stand-up comedy in London when he came. Me and Ginger Greek, we both went to see this, yeah, and even though Mick Foley's not the best stand-up comedian, the warm-up acts were stand-up comedians, and they were wrestlers, and they were giving great jokes about wrestling, which was having us in stitches. So you had to be a wrestling fan to know these things, yeah. And
dude, that bird loves your head.
Yeah, no,
I can't wait for the first time he shits on your head on camera. I am memeing that shit. I am gifting that shit so fast.
But the point is that you got to know your subject matter for these jokes to really hit home. And it's the same with Star Trek too. Yes, it's Easter eggs, but they're putting the humorous spin on it, and I fucking love it because only us Trekkies get it, and that's why I appreciate it so much. Anything more to say, Cousin Cheeto, before I pass it on to Steve?
Nope. I mean, I want Steve's opinion on what I just said. I don't know if he heard it, but But yeah, I kind of want to know what Steve says, but about the and James if he ever comes back. But I want to know, am I crazy? Like, am I crazy for liking the show as much as I do? It is my second favorite Trek as of right now. Only one that beats it right now is Deep Space Nine. Now it has a chance to lower the ranks as it goes on in seasons if it does get bad. But so far in the season and a half we've had, I love this show and I think it's great.
It's I thoroughly enjoy the program overall. It's the only of all the new Treks that I really look forward to every week. Not to say I don't look forward to Discovery or Picard, but not nearly as much as Lower Decks because it is self-referential and bringing back classic Trek left and right, bam, bam, bam. this most recent episode, I thought was a bit boring personally, because there wasn't as much going on. But I did enjoy it. My favorite bit was seeing the Kazinti talking about Boimler needs to stand upright and look or captain like and more imposing instead of being all slumped over, and then the Gazinti slumps over like the Gazinti were in the original animated episode they appeared in. It's like, oh man, that's
See,
deep.
but that's a reference you would get. See, I didn't get that reference honestly because I haven't seen the animated. That's the only Trek I have not seen is the animated series. But that's what I'm saying. It's got something for every Trekkie in this show. Like
Yeah.
and I get it. Does it really rely on you knowing Trek? Yes. But I think that's the point. I think if you don't know Trek, then you might be a little lost. I mean, this isn't a show for kids. This is a show for
yeah, they
people.
swear.
Huh?
They swear in this. You got people getting shut out of alien backsides.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying though. It's like you shouldn't really watch it with like little kids. Like you probably can watch Prodigy, but at the same time, it's like you can watch it with you can watch it with your teenage kids or even anyone who's watched Trek over the years. You will get these references. So
Yeah, I don't know. I would guess that people who have not watched Trek over the years will still enjoy the show, though they won't get all the jokes.
Yeah, even they go over my head as well, Steve. Sometimes I have to watch these prominent YouTubers who know every element of Trek to sometimes make me understand that that there's a joke here, and I totally fucking missed it.
That would
listen,
be me.
I got
I know every element of Trek. That would be me.
I got destroyed when I got the what's the big beast with the horn on its head. Man, when I missed that reference, man, there were people cremating me in the comments. It was crazy. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that this was such a deep piece of lore.
Well, it was from the original series.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, wow, I didn't realize this was like that big of a thing. Truth be told.
My big question when I saw this last episode was, when did the Kazinti join Starfleet?
At some point, we don't know.
Obviously,
they did.
Well, and that's also why I always say Lower Decks is beta canon, or I'm sorry, loose canon.
Right.
Like Lower Decks is like I don't take everything that happens in Lower Decks. Like if this whole Pac-Led incident, like if we never hear about this Pac-Led incident again, I'm not gonna be well. Actually, in the year it's 2350, the Pac-Led and the Federation were actually at. I'm not gonna go with that. Like I consider it loose canon because it's a comedy show. I'm not thinking
right.
like the like the border wars with the Cardassians and Federation. That's canon. This is loose canon. This is like if they never mention any incident about the Pac-Leds again, I'm not going to shed any tears. Like I'm not going to sit there and go, "Oh no, they didn't mention the Pac-Led war or whatever they got going on." So I don't know.
I personally can't recall it's hard to remember every element of Star Trek. But were the Pac-Led really that fucking stupid the way Lower Decks is making them out?
No, they're exaggerating quite a bit with that, but they still are not that bright. But
yeah.
But I mean, this is the same people that did. This is the same people that made look at the Ferengi in season 1 in season 1 of Star Trek Next Generation, and by DS9 they're like at least they're not like running around acting stupid, hunched over with whips.
Yeah. As far as the Kazinti joining Starfleet, I don't think the Kazinti overall joined. Same way that the Klingons overall had not joined, but Worf was in Starfleet.
Right.
And
I can accept that.
Yeah. But I'm really enjoying Lower Decks. I think it is canon. They certainly intended for it to be canon. It's weird. I mean, all the Easter eggs that were in last week's episode,
right?
All the aliens that were brought back from the animated series that were popped up. I was in stitches. I loved every second, every single time one of them showed up. Because the animated Star Trek was the first Star Trek I ever watched when I was a kid. when it was originally aired on Saturday mornings. I remember watching it before catching the original live action in syndication, which was on in the afternoons. So the animated series really has a deep space in my heart, and I watched over it over and over. And so yeah, seeing all the callbacks to that in Lower Decks really, warms my cockles, as it were.
Warms my cockles.
So
Gets
Steve,
well
like
chuffed.
they were doing a lot of cleaning of space trash, alien trash.
Mhm.
Right.
Any of those items were Easter eggs?
I didn't.
I'm sure.
I
I
didn't recognize
almost
anything.
thought that the plant that shot up the girl,
On Mariner's face. Yeah,
or Mariner, I thought that was like maybe the spore plant from that one, The Side of Paradise or Paradise Syndrome, where Spock fell in love with that girl.
Mm-hmm.
I almost thought it was one of those.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Yeah, well,
I didn't recognize anything in it.
I just want to say, like, I found all of that to be very interesting because Tendy's got this thing where she thinks everything that they do in Starfleet is fun. And, and she was the one who organized for the Lower Decks crew to clean out the trash and stuff like that, because it's going to be fun and stuff like that. And then we see obviously Mariner having a horrible time regarding all of this. And it's not fun at all. And Mariner basically said, "What's your fucking problem? Why do you think everything has to be fun all the time?" Mm-hmm. And I did like that. And then, like we see, we see the more crazier side of Tendi as well, because she's got this, like, she's so nice in a way that it can be terrifying as she goes about it, and she ends up putting her friends into like scenarios and situations they don't want to be in. But I did like the fact that she got eaten by the alien and then shat out. That was fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, the way they dealt with that alien too.
She got traumatized by it as well. Like, don't touch me.
Give me a minute.
I wanted to put that in the thumbnail so bad. There's so much from this episode I wanted to put on the thumbnail. Like,
give me a minute. I'll be right back.
I had to pick I usually just pick like 3 things and put them on the thumbnail. It's like, but there's like 5 or 6 things that I'm like, oh, I want to put this on there. Oh, I want to put this on there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get her on my shoulder, but she's not having it today.
Yes, Daniel Vance. I want live action Badgie too. Evil Microsoft Clippy. We need it.
Yes. Yes, I like that too. Now, going on to Boimler, one of the things I did like about this is just because Boimler was hanging around with his cool kids didn't mean that he was neglecting his mates, which I very much appreciated, because he never neglected them at all. But he is an ambitious guy, and he was a lieutenant when he was on Titan before being demoted back to an ensign again. But all of the people he was hanging around with, the red shirts, because it makes them feel invincible, which is fantastic. They have all ambitions to be captains, but instead of like maybe trying to be their own unique captain, they're all following other captains. They were trying to basically extract information from Boimler about fucking William Riker, about how he blows his fucking trombone and shit like that. Just because, oh my god! But it was, like, I've seen this episode twice, and it really does help. Because at the beginning of this episode, Boimler falls over and drops that food on his head, and it makes Tendi laugh, which is what Boimler realizes is the best way to get Tendi out of the predicament when she becomes that scorpion monster, by making her laugh. So he was using his initiative. I only picked up on that by watching this episode twice. So that was really cool, and it shows that Boimler has evolved as a character, which I really appreciated. And I did like the fact that he got recognized for that by Commander Jack Ransom, which was also a nice little touch as well. So there were some good moments. There were some very good moments regarding Boimler and his evolution, and regardless of these cool kids wanting to be captain, he was more captain than they could ever imagine to be, which was really good to see. Any thoughts on any of that regarding Boimler and the cool kids?
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okie dokie. Now, James, you got anything to say? Anything more further to say? Because you haven't joined this at the beginning because you had some technical issues.
Right.
How did
I was
you
just having some. I like this episode. My first reaction, of course, like I said earlier, was I noticed the Kazinti, and going along with what you just said about Boimler hanging out with the cool kids, was the Kazinti was showing him how to stand, with his spine straight. And I thought it was so funny because it refers, Steve, you'll understand, it referred back to the animated series where we first saw the Kazinti, and the telepath was in that hunched over pose, and that's exactly what I saw. It referred back to the animated series with that. And I was just, I was probably rolling around on the floor laughing kind of thing. I love the way this show refers back to previous shows.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Has it ever referred back to Voyager or Discovery or all the other ones?
All the time. I mean, what's her face? Sorry for interrupting, but Freeman kept getting called Janeway by the pack.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes,
and also Tom Paris was in episode 2 or 3.
Yeah,
that's right. He was. I'm sorry.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and that was brilliant.
Senior moments there.
Yeah, and first season, second episode, Envoys, when they are on the planet that has all the little enclaves, and they go to little Kronos, there are Discovery Klingons among the crowd.
I'll have to rewatch that and take a look.
I didn't notice it until somebody pointed it out online. It's like, really?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we got to understand the Packlet a little bit more in this episode because apparently they like the bigger your hat, the more responsibility you have.
Well, it's bigger the helmet. Bigger the helmet.
I'm surprised that a species like this, a culture like this, could ever achieve warp drive or anything. They just seem so incompetent. But the spy they brought on, and this is one of the things I did like is like they're not stupid on the Cerritos, but they can be a bit careless. Like Ransom and that alien, I forgot his name, but they knew that Packlet who they assumed was looking for asylum was a spy.
Tamarin.
Yeah, and I like that.
Right.
I like that a lot. They know what they're doing, but they were just a bit casual about it. And so he's gonna probably shit. She's gonna probably shit on my head anytime. But they were very casual about it because they think they're really cool and stuff like that, and they know what they're doing. But because these Packlets are fucking idiots, and instead of this Packlet disappearing and stuff, he took a dump in the fucking airlock, thinking it was a toilet, and then he flushed
the biggest bathrooms in the universe.
And he flushed himself out of the ship.
Now, Zam, I don't know if in the UK there's a late night talk show here in America hosted by Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, we get him.
And
I love Stephen Colbert. He also loves
I love
John
Stephen
Oliver,
Colbert.
too.
He used to do a bit with the big fuzzy hat. And by the right of me wearing a big fuzzy hat, I am in charge and I can make laws. And so I think that was kind of a reference to that with the Packlets and the giant helmets.
Like, my helmet's not big enough to make that decision. It's like there was a
queen and the king,
a queen, a king, and then an emperor, and I'm like, what is this? The British hierarchy? Like, come on.
Yeah.
And don't forget the revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They had the revolution in that episode. And then I don't know if it was all supposed to be part of their master plan of distraction and stuff, but then one of them ended up taking over, and then one of them puts their hat on and they're in charge and stuff. And it was just absolutely bizarre. And the funny thing is, I'm kind of surprised, just in Trek generally, whether it be lower decks or whatever, you can't just be sending the captain and the security officer, just two people, down to a hostile planet where they fucking apparently hate you.
Yeah.
Unless that was terms of the negotiation.
Yeah, but then Starfleet shouldn't they shouldn't accept those terms.
Am I the only
dumb sometimes?
Am I the only one here that watched Babylon 5?
Oh no. I watched the shit out. I own Babylon 5.
Yeah, there was an episode early on where I don't remember the name of the aliens, but yeah. How do we determine who's in charge? Whoever's wearing the purple tie.
Oh, I don't remember. Is that was that like the Minbar? Like, was that one of like the main races, like the Centauri, Minbari, or
one of them? Yeah.
Narn?
Centauri, Minbari.
Minbari, yeah.
Yeah, and then finally, what's her name? Ivanova got a hold of the tie, and she's like, "Okay, I'm going to take care of business."
Man, but, I gotta watch it again. I don't remember that.
Like,
but
first,
I mean,
like second episode of the first season.
Dude, Garibaldi was one of my favorite characters growing up.
Yeah. Growing up, thank you. Growing up.
At the end of the
old.
Oh.
At the end of the episode, we had one of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, the alien does escape me, but this is the alien that killed Tasha Yar.
Yes.
Armis.
And by doing all this cleanup, they managed to get this special magical stone, which is able to make long distance calls to any part of the galaxy. So they decided to prank call. Sorry, what was the name again? Armis.
Yeah.
Yeah, they decided to prank call Armis.
They even mentioned the title of the episode that he appeared in, where Tasha was killed.
Yes, well, it was a good. If you're gonna prank call anybody, prank call him because he fucking deserves it. But God, that was. I mean, this is the sort of people call these Easter eggs, but it's genius.
Right.
It really is genius because this is how you get your Star Trek humor. Because people like us get it. Yeah, people might look at it as Easter eggs, but this is how you make it funny. You know what I mean? But you laugh at yourself. You make fun of this evil character. You're laughing at his expense, so it makes it funny. It's just brilliant. I mean, how can you not appreciate that? And even I'm so glad they never gave that away in the bloody trailer or anything like that. It was so good. You're so clever. Go on, Cheeto.
So one thing I wanted to talk about was the one thing I didn't like about this episode was when Tendi transformed into like the big scorpion thing, and like
I liked it.
I didn't because it and maybe it's just because I'm being narrow-minded, but it's just like that never happens in Trek. Like you do have transformations, like the de-evolution episode and stuff like that, but you usually, and like the Geordi episode where he gets all the Christmas lights on him, but you really never have those episodes where it's like except for the salamander episode where they like transform into like this big monster and it's running around and it's hurting. As far as I remember, and it just felt off to me, and maybe that's just because I'm being closed-minded about it, but that was where I was like, okay. I mean, they are taking advantage of the fact that they are taking advantage of the fact that they are in animation, and it's easy for them to make some big scorpion monster out of one of the characters. So, but at the same time, I was kind of like, I'm like, I didn't feel it. I mean, that was really the only thing that Spider Barkley, yes, but all that was some prosthetics. I'm talking like a full on. That's what Daniel Vance said.
Yeah, I disagree.
About a full on transformation into like a huge like scorpion monster that looks like. I mean, it's like the big Spock from the animated series, like the one Spock that was huge. Like
which we saw a couple of episodes ago.
The monster doesn't bother me that much because it's the payoff which overshadowed the monster. Like I said earlier, in the beginning of the episode, Boimler dropped food on his head. It makes Tendi laugh. And this is what Boimler realizes is how he can help Tendi by getting her out of that particular state. And so he ends up making a fool of himself to make Tendi laugh again, and then and he saves it by doing so. And it's the actions of Boimler that surpasses the fact that Tendi turned into this monster, and it made him look better than those dickheads he was hanging around with during the course of this episode too.
Well, everything.
So there was, and yeah, just everything about that episode was everything about that was really smart. This show is a lot cleverer than people give it credit for. It's not just funny; it's very smart.
Yeah,
So
it is Trek.
yeah, and it's Trek at the same time as well.
I would
So yeah,
say about the giant scorpion thingy. There was an episode of Doctor Who where they had a giant monster full. It was puppetry and prosthetics and CGI, and
It probably looked awful.
She was a spider queen, is what she was. It was
that's
the
Doctor
Runaway
Who
Bride.
also.
Runaway Bride was the episode, I think.
Well,
Doctor Who is for amateurs.
I disagree. Doctor Who's. I prefer Doctor Who even over Star Trek. It's my favorite.
Whoa!
I got a bridge I want to sell you then.
Jesus Christ!
Then there was the
believe
Phoenix 7 episode scene from My Favorite Martian.
What happened?
The Phoenix 7 scene, the movie My Favorite Martian.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't know.
Okay, Daryl Hannah was the girlfriend and of the Bill Bixby character, Peter Daniels, I guess. But she ate some of the Martian gum, and which transformed her into the Martian gum called Phoenix 7, and she transferred into this huge, ugly, ravenous monster. So when I saw the Scorpion character pop up, I thought we were going to have another one of those kind of episodes.
It's funny because only watching it the second time did I think she was a scorpion. The first time I watched it, I thought she turned into a mantis. But that's because she's green and stuff. So maybe that's what made me.
Sure.
But she was definitely a scorpion. She definitely was a scorpion.
Right.
So, but yeah. So I'm very happy that Mariner kind of wasn't the prominent character of this episode, because she does play front and center a lot. She's almost Michael Burnham-ish in the sense of this show. So it was really good that she wasn't. But I find all these characters to be very intriguing. I love them. I really love Mariner a lot as well, by the way. And you say that some of you, I don't know who it was, said that this is their second favorite Star Trek. Lower Decks is my favorite Star Trek now. It is. If it keeps churning out this level of stuff that makes me laugh at something I really love, and it's so intelligently written as well at the same time, and it's able to pack in so much in 25 minutes that it makes me hungry for more, then I can't praise it enough. I really cannot praise it enough. It's just so well done. I think people underestimate how good this is. So it's become my favorite Star Trek now, and
okay.
I'm just really happy that we're seeing Trek being shown in various directions and stuff like that. I would like some more movies in Star Trek, but
I disagree. I think unless it's like a Paramount Plus special, like it's a move, it's a Paramount Plus like movie, but it's like got a movie budget, but it's Star Trek, but I honestly, a theater release for Star Trek anymore is just not. That's when Paramount gets way too involved and turns it into the cluster that it's been, for a while. And I would much rather it be in the hand of good creators and, like people who are doing like Lower Decks and even Discovery Season 3. Like Discovery Season 3 was good for me. Maybe Picard, I don't know if I'd trust them with it so much, but like I'm okay with like these short limited series runs. And even if they did want to make some big movie that was a Paramount Plus exclusive, I don't know if I'd want it to touch theaters, because whenever Trek goes to theaters, there's just way too much studio involvement, and I hate it.
Well, I can't wait to see what they do with Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have we heard an episode count on that yet? I don't think so, but I don't know yet.
I haven't.
My money is on 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, Discovery's up to 13 or 15 or something like that. So I'm hoping for 13 to 15, but this is also season 1, so it might get a limited run, and then if it is successful, then it might go into, more episodes per season.
Right. Yeah. Well, we can only hope, and like I said, it being episodic, I almost feel that they have to find themselves again, because I'm because making episodic Star Trek, is something they haven't done in a while. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can pull it off.
I don't care so much about episodic. I mean, Deep Space Nine was a great combination of episodic and serial, but it's the messaging and is the storytelling that's really intriguing me. Getting back to Star Trek's roots.
Regarding Deep Space Nine, because they weren't really going anywhere, they were stuck in the same place all the time. It almost had to be serialized in that particular sense. But with them, going to strange new worlds, you can make it episodic in that sense. They are flying about in the Enterprise, going here, there, and fucking everywhere. So that sense, it can be episodic. I mean, I do feel the serialized narrative will be there, but it'll be a minor thing more in the background, a bit like how Freeman and Mariner were hiding each other's relationship to the crew in the season 1, that they were mother and daughter, something along those particular lines.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it's going to be. Like, it's going to be a very minor thing. Obviously, it's going to all end up leading to Captain Pike ending up in a wheelchair. But other than that,
but that'll be in later seasons if they even do it.
Yeah.
Well,
I checked on IMDb, and they list Strange New Worlds first season at 10 episodes.
So
there you go. But but it's all going to be gradually bringing in all the more recognized Star Trek characters along the line too. We're going to see Sulu maybe in season 2 or 3, and we're going to see fucking Scotty as well. Like I said, the only person we won't see would be Chekhov. Other than that, we're going to see everyone else.
I wouldn't do that if I was in charge. That's not the direction I would take it in. I
think it's inevitable though. Like, definitely, we will see them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't
in like Bones as well. Even Kirk.
Even to like final season or final episode finale, I would I mean, people know they're out there. They don't have to see them. I want to see Pike and crew discovering worlds and the way Enterprise was doing.
Yeah, but in the original series, was there ever mentioned how long Sulu and Scotty and all of them had been serving on the Enterprise prior? Like one of them saying in season 1 of Star Trek, the original series, I've been on this ship for 4 years now. So you'd have to then subtract from when the original series happened 4 years, and that's when Sulu should show up. Because if there's ever a reference like that,
they never said that. I don't really know.
The only one that would have been, I'm sorry, the only one that would have been like that was Spock.
Yeah.
Because of the episode, the 2-parter episode, Menagerie. Now, I read the book Enterprise. The novel that was supposed to be about their first, Captain Kirk appearing on the Enterprise the first time. And according to that novel, all of those people, except for Chekhov, of course, were already on the Enterprise when he took over command.
Right.
And there was a change of command ceremony. So I'm assuming that Pike didn't get into the wheelchair until after Kirk took over. So what Jason said about they'll probably not do the wheelchair thing on Strange New Worlds, because that would have taken place after Pike left the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Do we ever see what made him go into the wheelchair?
He
got a blast of, I think it was Delta radiation.
Yeah.
Was it the cage? Not the cage.
They mentioned it in the cage.
They mentioned it in the cage.
In the menagerie.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
But he had retired and gone to be a teacher at the academy, and was having trouble with. There was an accident in engineering, and a training cruise he was doing with cadets. And he was down there getting all the cadets out and got blasted by whatever.
Well, look, Daniel Vance has come up with some juicy tidbits here. Canon Chekhov was on board. He just worked the night shift.
Yeah, that's the explanation for not meeting Khan, but knowing Khan all the same.
Yeah, that really pissed me off. Out of all you would have thought they would have done their fucking homework, yeah. And sort of like, just swap him and Sulu around. That's it. You're done. But no,
I agree.
It would have made sense too, because Sulu was on his way to being a captain pretty soon. At least a couple years after, because you know, because Chekhov was what, first officer on the Reliant.
Yeah.
So you figure Sulu would have been a better choice to be first officer on the Reliant because he was on his way to the captain's chair. Sulu kind of just went from helmsman of the Enterprise to captain of the Excelsior like that.
Right.
Like, you know,
Well, not exactly. He was a lieutenant commander.
he was a lieutenant commander.
Yes,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then you got to go through commander, and then you got to go to captain.
exactly.
And they
So
had
that's what I'm saying. It kind of out of nowhere, he went from lieutenant commander all the way up to captain, like
Yeah.
that. Like they no explanation, no nothing.
Right, right.
There was a deleted scene. I don't remember, it was 3 or 4, where they said that he was supposed to be taking over the Excelsior as captain,
Oh,
but
I mean, they gave him the
Didn't
the Kelvin Kirk promotion. They're just like, Sulu, we'll just bring him up. We'll just bump him up to captain.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They kind of done that in Starship Troopers too with Rico. You know, 1 minute he got promoted up to captain as well. Have you seen Starship Troopers? Brilliant film, by the way.
It's kind of like Steve Rogers. He just kind of was a captain. Like,
So yeah, but yeah, in the movie and television industry, you know, like they got no time to waste. Get these motherfuckers promoted. So yeah, but yeah, so that's Strange New Worlds anyway. But yeah, we got lots of Trek in the future. Did you guys, by the way, watch Star Trek Day thing? I never really spoke to you guys about that.
I'm sorry, what?
Star Trek Day. You know,
the live event.
Burton's daughter, they hosted that shit.
no, my computer was down, my internet was down, so I couldn't.
I actually was. I did a whole live panel with the thing, and the video got flagged like 14 times with copyright because of all the trailers and everything. So
Right.
Jesus Christ, 14 times.
it was up there. I mean, every time they showed a trailer, I had to mute it every time they played music because I knew it was going to get hit. But yeah, I mean, 14, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but every time they played a trailer or a clip or anything like that, they got flagged. So, I mean, I was hoping the trailers wouldn't flag, or I didn't mind a copyright claim, but like it just kind of flagged it and said, no, you can't show this. Like I did the whole 3.5 hour live watch long. And it says, nope, you can't show this. So I've been slowly trying to cut all the trailers out through YouTube, and it's just not happening. Like there's so many of them, it's just taking forever. Because after every individual trailer, it has to then reprocess. There's still like 4 trailers left I gotta like cut out. And it's just like I can't, like, I'm just like, whatever. Next time if I ever do this, I'm gonna, anytime there's a trailer, I'm gonna stop it and just watch it, and they're gonna have to just read my reactions. And then, you know, if I decide to do it again, because Paramount's just ridiculous. I'm tired of Paramount. Like, I understand not wanting us to show like whole episodes of their shows on here or something like that, but it's like, it's a trailer. We're trying to help promote your shit. You know?
It's always the way with these motherfuckers, though. You know, like you know, us as fans are promoting their shit, but they're so fucking greedy. They don't even want that.
Right.
You know?
Well, like on my own show, Captain's Log, every time I show even a clip from one of the episodes, you know, to illustrate one of my points, I get a copyright claim.
Yeah.
Well, and the copyright claim, the thing is that I'll take a claim, that's fine, but like they'll like block the video. It won't even go up. Like we can show trailers.
Doing it again.
Huh? What?
What happened?
Well, I'm just saying, like, we can show, like, me and Zam, we do trailer reviews and reactions and stuff like that. We can show all of those. Like, we did The Matrix, Zam did The Matrix. We've done all, but as soon as you show Star Trek trailers in their entirety, they will block the video. You cannot play it anywhere. That's why when we do Star Trek, we can't show the whole trailer. We just kind of page through it and talk about the images because you cannot play the whole trailer.
Right. All of that Star Trek Day stuff is available on YouTube. So people really want to watch, you can go pull it up there.
I'm not, well, I mean, I watched it all. But.
If you did a reaction of yourself watching it, even though it's on YouTube, they'll put it up.
Right.
You know, so, because like some of the trailers we watch are on fucking YouTube. You know, it's there for everyone else to see. Yeah, we get pulled up on it, even though it's on fucking YouTube itself. You know, everything we react to is on YouTube. You know, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. You know, the way they're clamping down on all of this is it's demoralizing.
Overkill.
Overkill and demoralizing because you're punishing fans of your product
when we're just trying to promote their shit. Like, we want people to like Trek. We want people to see, hey, this is what's going on with Trek. You know, check it out.
Yeah.
And instead we get a slap on the wrist and stuff like that. You know, and we do. Oh, James has disappeared.
He said his computer's whacking out on him again.
Well, he's back. Let me see if I can bring him in. How's that, Jim?
Yep, it seems to be working now. I don't know why it's doing that to me.
Yeah, I wish I knew too. I mean, we're nerds, but we're not techies, unfortunately. But yeah. So, all right then, fellas. Anything more to say on Lower Decks or Star Trek in general? I'll start with you, Jim.
On the whole, I like the show. It's not one of my favorites, but it's up there. My all-time favorite show is the original series because that's what I started with way back when, and that's all we had. But yeah, Lower Decks is cool. I like it. It's a release. You know, don't be so serious kind of thing, and that's always good to do.
For sure, it does require, several decades, almost 6 decades of Star Trek material to make a show like Lower Decks. So I appreciate it for what it is. Steve,
it's a very enjoyable program. I highly recommend it. Everyone that's not watching it should. They might find some of the jokes go over the head. They might find some of the humor not that amusing, but overall, I think it's worth it, and you really should give it a shot.
We got a lot of toilet humor today. Actually, there's been a lot of toilet humor in Lower Decks generally. We had Shax eating shit to find the fucking Mugato, and we had Tendi being shat out by a space blob.
Pshaw.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that as smart as the writing is, they still throw in the toilet humor, and if you can make it work like they do, then it's better for it. Cousin Cheeto, anything you want to add, mate?
I mean, I think I've said enough about Lower Decks. If you're not watching it, please do. It's a great. I think James actually said it pretty well. It's a great release. Like it's like Trek can be so politically, involved, and it better future.
Very
and everything.
tense.
Like, huh?
It can be very tense.
Yeah, it can be very tense.
Even if it's not action packed, there's always tension in every episode.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I like how James said that it's a release, and I agree. It is. It is the same Trek we enjoy, but it's just like it is. We are in on the joke, and so are they, and that's kind of how I feel about it, and I love it.
Yeah, just for them to even make a show like this is unfathomable until they made it, and I have more love for it because to laugh at yourself is one of the best ways of doing humor. So I would just like to end this stream by saying thank you very much, Jim, for popping in and popping out and popping back in again. Very much appreciated. Steve, your knowledge on Trek is always appreciated, mate, and we hope to see you again. And cousin Cheeto as well. Now, tomorrow, fellas, we're going to be talking Titans season 3, episode 8. I'm not sure if you guys are watching the show Titans. Not into that.
It costs money to have that channel, and I don't have that channel because I don't have that money.
I will show you a way if you're interested.
I love me some dick.
Yes, I bet you do. But today's episode had had dick, tits, ass, everything, as well as swearing. It's weird because the show's called Titans. It's based on the Teen Titans, which is a kids show, but it's the most adult show you can find about superheroes at this particular moment.
It's
not based on a comic book.
Yeah, and Titans as a comic book is different than Teen Titans, just so you know. Like
I've got, that was my jam as a comic book growing up as a kid. Absolutely, the Teen Titans is my favorite.
See,
I've still got over on the shelf there. It's still absolutely love it.
About 5 years ago, they did a run. It was called Titans, like not Teen Titans. It was called Titans, and it was Nightwing. It was Wonder Girl. It was Kid Flash, but he was more like.
But it's still based on the younger characters in a way, so it's always got that young feel about it. But I like the fact that even though they're younger characters, they're still adults. Regardless of the fact that they're younger than the superheroes that they're sidekicks to. So I appreciate that. I mean, you had Superboy and Blackfire fucking the shit out of each other in this episode. Sorry for that. I do apologize for that spoiler. Yeah. But you had that as well, which was amazing. Sorry for that, Cousin Cheeto.
I haven't even watched it yet, you turd.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. That slipped out.
They're really not that young anymore. They're grown young adults. They're not kids.
Yeah, I was about to say Dick Grayson's in his mid-20s in this.
That's why they dropped the teen part, because they're 19 to 20.
Superboy is a bit of a gray area.
Like 8-year-old.
Yeah, Superboy's a gray area because he's physically a man, but he's only been alive for about a year. So it's weird, but yeah.
Right.
And anyway, look, enough of that. All right, so thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow on the next NerdTube broadcast, and you'll see me on Critical, not Cynical.
I'll be there too.
Oh, wonderful. So I'll see you guys for that. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Live long and prosper, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.